side, it's Joe Smith, your general manager, and we are back with another Meet the Staff Monday. And we're continuing with this kind of new theme where I'm interviewing some of our department managers because we haven't really gotten any of them on camera yet. And I started last video with Scott Ortiz, our food and beverage director, and I thought we'd sit down with Stephanie, our director of golf.
Thank you.
Steph, welcome. You've been here just over 10 years.
Yeah.
A little bit of interesting history with Countryside. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your time here?
I was hired as a seasonal assistant back in 2010 by TK Matthews, who many of you remember. Shortly after being hired, we felt like it was a good fit, so he promoted me and just kept me on for year-round status. I worked 2 seasons here, really enjoyed it. An opportunity came up at Island Country Club on Marco. So I went down there for about a year and had an opportunity there to be interim head pro. Mm-hmm. Our boss had left, and so I filled in his shoes for a little while. And then I wanted an opportunity to grow. So when I went down there, he had said that he would make it an effort to try to help promote me, mm-hmm. help me move up and on. So he did, and an opportunity came up in Tampa, Brandon, which is just outside of Tampa. So I took it, and I was the director of golf and general manager at a club up there. A little different structure. It was corporate, mm-hmm. which is a lot different than member-owned. Sure. I hadn't had a lot of experience with corporate. I learned an awful lot. I won't probably choose that route again. Mm-hmm. It's just a different animal. Yeah. But learned a ton. Like in a very short period, 8 months I think I was there, 8-9 months, and I learned a ton. And then the opportunity here came up when TK was leaving, and I thought I would love to be able to come back to Countryside. And fortunately for me, that's how it worked out. Mm-hmm. So I came back in July of 2014, and I have been here since.
Ever since. Here you are. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you grew up outside of New York, that area. Have you always been in the golf industry?
Yeah.
Is that always been attracted to that?
I'm originally from upstate New York, Albany, Saratoga area. I started playing when I was like 13, which is late, mm-hmm. like nowadays. People, seems like they grow up with a golf club in their hand. But I started at 13. Played high school golf, played collegiate golf. My freshman year, I went down to James Madison in Virginia, and it wasn't a good fit. The coach that had recruited me left, and I wasn't really thriving there. So I ended up transferring back to Siena College, again back home. I ended up being back home, 20 minutes away. My GPA went up, grades were great. I was the number 1 person on the team, so I think for my confidence, it was a lot better for me. So I finished up my education at Siena. I graduated with a BS in finance. And then I came down to Naples for a seasonal position in 2003. And I've been here ever since, which a lot of people can relate to. Yeah. I fell in love with the area, and that was that.
So there was no direct tie to Naples. It was just that was where the opportunity was.
Yeah, I was 21 years old. I graduated college. I knew I wanted to get out of New York, and I knew I wanted to pursue golf. So I packed up my little Acura Integra and headed south and came to Naples sight unseen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, and this is it. And now I'm here. I've been here almost 20 years. It seems 17, 18 years.
Yeah.
And this is home.
It's about the same time I came down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. So I worked my first season. I was hired at Vanderbilt Country Club, worked a few months there, and then decided I wanted to stay. So I went and took a full-time year-round position at Hammock Bay with WCI, who I worked for, someone you worked for, Bob Radens. Yep. And really enjoyed it. They helped me get into the PGA, and then an opportunity came up at Bears Paw, and I was there for about 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and that's so I met Jerry along the way, and we've recruited some staff from Bears Paw along the way as well. And then ended up coming here. Yeah,
it's a tight-knit group down here.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Small industry.
So I don't want to put you on the spot. I know you're humble about this, but tell me about your Master Professional designation, which is rather unique in the industry. You don't see a whole lot of Master PGA professionals.
No.
I've never had the privilege of working with one. So tell me about that.
Sure. So it's... I wish it was a a designation that I earned from my outstanding playing ability, but that is not the case. It's an education status. So the requirements, you have to be a PGA member for at least 8 years. You have to become a certified professional first, which there's a few different avenues. I chose golf operations. Generally, about 3% of PGA members opt to move forward into becoming certified.
Wow.
And then beyond that, you can then become a master professional. That part took me about 2 years. I would compare it just like college, going on to get your master's. I wrote almost like a thesis or an instruction manual on how to operate Countryside, the ins and outs of every detail. Our financials, our merchandise operations, our cart barn operations, the driving range. I mean, every tournament operations, tee times, golf course utilization, tee times. So it's very thorough and it's a lot of work, but it's something that I really wanted to accomplish. So much so that I dug myself a little bit of a hole when I was being interviewed. One of the committee members asked me what me being hired at Countryside would do for Countryside. And I very confidently and maybe a little boldly said, well, I'm going to become, one of the very few female master professionals. So then I kind of put myself in a spot there, but he was probably the first member I told when I accomplished that goal. Because I kind of
That's incredible.
Threw it out there.
To set that goal for yourself and just go after it and
thank you, yeah.
Accomplish it. You need to be proud of that. And I know we're certainly proud to have someone like yourself here.
Yeah, I think
because it's unique for us as well.
At the time, I think I was like the 10th female to have accomplished that, to become a master professional. Yeah, that's
so awesome. And you're still very involved in the the PGA and some of the education down here. You do a lot of mentoring.
I do,
correct?
Yeah. Well, and Sam mentioned it in her interview. I work with FGCU. They've reached out every time they have a females in the upcoming freshman class. They'll reach out and ask if I'll mentor, and of course, I always say yes. But I just feel like it's important. I didn't really know any female golf pros when I was coming up, so I always say yes. FGCU is how I met Sam. It's how we got Logan. It's how we've gotten other staff members. And also the PGA reaches out when they have an upcoming master professional who's going through the program. And they assign a mentor so that I can kind of help guide them through, it's a few years commitment. I did it in 2, which I think is pretty fast. Yeah. I was very committed to getting it done.
Yeah, but even the mentor thing is just such an awesome thing to give back to. It's I know I look back over my career and I would not have had the growth that I did without some key mentors.
Yeah, things happen all the time.
It's kind of a responsibility of ours to look out for that next wave of leader that's coming into our industry.
Right, and it's I wanted to kind of grow a culture here where we can bring interns in and have them grow, even bring assistants in. When I brought Evan in, we knew we'd only keep him a couple years and we were going to try to move him up and on, which we did. And the same for Sean. I'm sure he's not going to be with us forever, unfortunately, but that's what I want. And the more we're able to do that, the better quality assistants we're going to get, because people are going to want to come here. I always say, if you can work here, you can work anywhere, because we're so busy. We do so much with so few staff.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, so if you can kind of keep up here, you'll be successful anywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly, when I talk about Countryside, it's certainly something I brag about. Just how into the mentorship you are and your classifications. So kudos to you.
Thank you very much.
So you've been here a little over 10 years.
Yes, and every year has been different.
Yes. I know, the 3 years I've been here, it's been different. Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me, what keeps you here? What do you really like about the community?
Well, of course, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but just like everybody else, the members here are awesome. They become like family, especially after this long. Even the staff becomes like family. I've worked alongside Jerry and Mike, Billy, some of the starters for, think about it, almost a decade now.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But it's a great place to be. And we've talked about it, the opportunities that the club provides for staff. So opportunities for education. Sean's taken advantage of that, and I have as well. Like some of the members that are playing in events this year are seeing some different things like Golf Genius. Well, we spent the summer getting Golf Genius certified.
Right.
And now we're able to bring kind of a new experience to the membership, which we wouldn't be able to do unless the club supported us pursuing education.
Exactly.
So, you know, the staff, the members, of course, when I was being interviewed, I remember kind of specifically saying and a little bit joking, I know what it is here and I want to come back. I know how busy, I know how crazy it can get, but I still want to come back and do it.
Well, it's funny. I've considered not asking that question because everybody has the same answer. But, you know, it's just a true testament to how great the community is and how happy our employees are. And keeps us as an attractive employer. And I know it's certainly one of the things. It's such a friendly place to be. I mean, number of communities I've been in, this is definitely one of the friendliest.
Yeah. Well, and just like we're seeing with new owners, it's almost always a reference from an existing owner. The staff works the same way.
Yeah.
When we get new staff, it's a reference from
Someone
an
else,
existing staff member.
Yeah.
I think everyone loves it.
It's good for countryside.
Yeah.
So last question I have for you, tell me what you like to do outside of work.
Sure. Well, this time of year, unfortunately, I don't get to golf much, but I look forward to summer when we can get out and golf a little bit more. I love being outside in the sun. I love the heat. So beach and pool are very enjoyable. I've got 2 little cats at home. One's a little kitten, just super fun and tiring and adventures. And as you know, I've gotten into biking.
Yes, yeah.
I'm up to doing 20-mile rides, which is more than I ever thought I would.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Kind of picked up doing that last year when we were quarantined, like many people. We kind of found other things to do. I didn't do the baking bread thing like a lot of people did. I got into bicycling.
that was Mike.
Mike, I think, started baking bread loaves. But so that keeps me busy when I'm not at work. And my parents, my mom and stepdad live very close, so they're here in the season months, so I enjoy spending time with them when they're close by.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. That's really nice.
All good stuff. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you and I spend a lot of time together on a normal basis, but I appreciate you coming on camera here and giving our residents a little bit more insight into.
Well, thank you for thinking of me.
Who is Stephanie Reeves?
I think I'm old news, so thank you for thinking of me.
Far from it. Far from it. You guys have been doing a great job. You know, really appreciate everything you do, especially this year. Just keeping things going. It's been an unusual year for all of us.
Yeah.
So, countryside, we appreciate you staying engaged with these videos. I keep mentioning if you have an employee you'd like to see me interview, feel free to send me an email. I've heard from quite a few people, and we might have a couple interesting videos scheduled down the road. Who knows? But don't be shy. Reach out and send us some comments or thoughts or suggestions. We appreciate them. And as usual, we hope to see you around the club real soon. Thank you.